You're watching Inside Lion Football with Marshall College head coach Tim Clifton and the voice of the Lions, Cam Dowdle, on the Lion Sports Network. Brought to you by Mountain Credit Union, your community credit union. Now from the W. Scott Merrill Press Box on the campus of Marshall College, here's Cam Dowdle.
Welcome to Inside Line Football with head football coach Tim Clifton. I'm Cam Dowdle, and along with Tim, it's a big week this week. Homecoming 2011. The Wingate Bulldogs are coming to town for a big Southland Conference game here on Saturday afternoon. But talk about homecoming and what it means to the school.
Well, you know, we've won a lot of homecoming games here over the years, and you know, it's just a great time for the students. But the other thing is that I really enjoy is seeing our former players. So many of them come back and they bring their families with them. And you know, when you go all the way back to '93, some of those guys are old now when they come back, and their children are old now.
Well, they're saying the same thing about you.
Yeah, and we've had the opportunity to coach some of our former players, you know, children here.
Wow.
So you know, evidently we're all getting old, but it's just an exciting time for our campus and an exciting time for our players.
Well, a big game this coming Saturday, but another real good one was last Saturday in Newberry, South Carolina, a big 23-21 win. It was a game that went right down the wire. Tell us about that game.
Well, you know, I thought we played a great first half, up 23-7, and I thought we had an opportunity to knock them out in the third quarter, and we didn't. And they started fighting back and coming back, and as you said, it ended up being a thriller for the fans and not for the coaches.
And my heart was beating too.
Yeah, but great for the fans. And but I thought what I really liked and was excited about is our offense took the ball and took 7 minutes off on the last drive, over 7 minutes, and ran 11 plays. And Jonas ran up, carried it 11 straight times. And then our defense stepped up after we didn't get the first down and held them to 4 downs in the last 2 plays. Did a great job in coverage and pressure, and quarterback had nowhere to go with the football, and we were able to stop them there and win the game. And it was a huge win for us. Newberry's a tough place to play, and really a talented football team.
Let's first go to the offensive side of the ball. Jonas had 200 over 200 yard rushing again. He was the offensive Southland Conference player of the week, or co-player of the week. Now he leads the country in rushing. But John Rick, he was pretty good too. He probably wasn't as good as he wanted to be, but he was sharp enough to make it easy on the other side of the ball as well.
Yeah, I thought you know, we blocked extremely well for Jonas. I think we had a lull there in the third quarter that really hurt us. But you know, he carried the load, and one of the guys you're going to talk to tonight, Patrick Park, is the lead blocker, and
unsung hero. Really.
Yeah, and Patrick, you know, everybody says, well, I guarantee you Jonas is sore the next day, but Patrick Park, he's sore the next day, I promise you, and just so unselfish blocking, you know. And but John threw the ball well. We didn't protect as well as we've been protecting, and they had a lot to do with that, and we just didn't do as good a job as we've done. But you know, we did what we had to do to win and beat a real good football team.
Right, and the old line was a little shifted just a little bit. You had some guys that were are not starters out there, but overall they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, you know, we had to move some people around, shift some people around, and some of those guys stepped up and played well. I think our defense just played so well against that offense, and kept us ahead long enough that we could finish the game off. But you know, I thought our secondary played well, and especially on the last drive.
Let's go to that side of the ball. Kevin Johnson with 10 tackles. Troy Harris had 9 tackles and a sack, and Superman had 9 tackles as well. But it was, but the secondary really played well the entire day.
Yeah, and you know, we gave up the one big bomb early, and but I really thought down the stretch there that we covered them. We had some coverage sacks where we sacked them, and but those 2 guys coming off the edge, Troy and KJ now, they're special coming off that edge. You better try to get some help there. And then I thought Prilo and Mam gives a lot of push inside. So, and then Rudy Cabral, he just made a lot of plays, and we're just fortunate. We just kept going till we got to the end of that thing. I didn't think it was going to ever end.
And also, Kevin Johnson, we had him on the show about a month or so ago, and you were talking about his speed. I saw him a couple times in coverage. Yeah,
we dropped him in coverage, and we walk him off on the split receiver, and he's really probably a safety player, defensive end is what he is. He can absolutely fly.
Special teams, Nerm was a factor, especially in the first half. He was booting them in the end zone. And of course, you had a 47-yard field goal. From my knowledge, it one of the longest in about 5 years.
Yeah, we won the toss, which was huge. Right. The win was probably 25, 30, maybe more than that.
It was weird that on the left end of the end zone, it wasn't moving, but if you look off from the quad, it was really kicking up.
Yeah, well, you just looked at the top of the trees, and you could see the wind just really blowing, and we won the toss, and we elected to kick it. And the first quarter, Nerm just kept kicking them deep, and we kept scoring, and he kept kicking them deep, and then we made the long field goal. But then in the second quarter and third quarter, we fought that wind now, and then the fourth quarter, the wind died down. I don't know what happened, but it just completely stopped.
Well, to talk about the 7-minute drive, it was all running the ball, but the offensive line hung in there. Of course, All-American guy, he was always there as well, but he continued to pound, and you almost got there. You got a 4th and 2. Any choices there on anything but a run?
Well, yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things that we discussed, and one probably, you thought about really hard. But then when your players are and people are saying, "Get it to him, let's get another one," you do that. And there was no question we were going to go for it. We just felt like we can make it, and they made a great play. They did a great job of stopping it, and then hey, we had to turn it over, and the defense just stepped up and played.
And they drove inside our yard line, I think inside the 45-yard line, and then made 2 back-to-back plays in the secondary, which were huge.
Yeah, and we continued to put pressure on him, and we forced him to throw it where he didn't want to throw it, and then we were able to play really just solid coverage right there at the end.
Home conference games are always really good, but being on the road and winning a tight game like that had to do something really good for your team.
Well, yeah, I think those are games that are tough to win on the road, and Newberry, there was some times that you didn't beat Newberry, so I'm just glad to get out of there.
Right. Inside Line Football head football coach Tim Clifton is sponsored by Mountain Credit Union. When we come back, we're going to have our player section of the program. We've got senior fullback Patrick Park. We've also got sophomore cornerback, free safety, wherever he wants to play, Marvin James as well. When we come back on Inside Line Football.